Hello everyone, so hope you guys are well. This is just a quick update. Ignore this line on my head. I've been wearing PPE with a hood because of the work I do, and it's left a line on my head, so just ignore that. So it's just a quick update. So in the UK, we've had to go down into another lockdown, which means that my loctician, Davina, hasn't been able to come round to retighten my hair, which was due last Sunday, so a few days ago. So I had a chat with her, and I didn't want to wait for as long as I did for the first retightening. So I took the plunge and I decided I was going to retighten my hair myself. I bought a lock tool. I'm at work, so I can't show you right now, but next time I'm on, I'll show you. I bought a lock tool. It came in a set of about 6 with different shapes. And I did some research to see how it's done, and I started on Sunday night. I washed my hair and then all that, and started on Sunday night, did for a few hours, and then I continued the next day and finished it yesterday, Monday. So I would approximate that it took maybe 4 hours or so, maybe a bit longer, I don't know, to do. Guys, it is the most tedious thing to do, to retighten your own hair. Seriously, it's almost like a complete misuse of my own personal time for me, because I know that I could have it done by somebody else who can actually see what they're doing and do it right without making mistakes. But I'll give you the pros and cons of my experience. The pro, number one, which is a massive advantage, is I got to really know my hair when it comes to it being in the state that it's at. So I obviously had to work with every single twisted hair, so I got to understand where it's at, what's happening to it, which is really, really good. There's nothing that can trump that. You really need to know your hair, even if you're not going to do it yourself, but you need to know your hair. You need to know what's going on. You need to understand, oh, this section of my head grows faster than another section of my head because I'm basing it on how much regrowth I had. And I found out that there are certain sections of my hair, of my head, that where the hair grows faster. So that would be around the nape of my my neck at the back, and also in towards the front, but not the very front perimeter, but towards this area. I think those areas have a different rate of growth compared to right in the middle and the perimeter of my head. So it's interesting to know, because then it meant that I couldn't do the same number of rotations on those areas than the others. So that's really helpful to know. Second thing is I have now understood completely, in the practical sense, the difference between 3-point rotation, 4-point rotation, 2-point rotation. I did, again, as I explained last time on discussing with Davina, we decided to stick with a 3-point rotation and see what happens. And so I did the same. And yeah, just there's nothing that trumps doing something yourself. It doesn't matter how many videos you watch, it doesn't matter how much you read, how well you imagine something going in your head, the process going on in your head, but until you practically do it yourself, it doesn't really solidify your level of understanding. So me doing it myself completely helped me to understand fully what was going on, which is helpful. You need to know what's going on your body, you know, whether people are more of an expert at it than you, it doesn't matter. You still need to know what's going on because it's your body, and ultimately you take responsibility for your own body. So that's really good. So I'm really, really glad I did it, and if I have to do it again, I for sure will. However, given the choice, I would not be doing it myself. I would definitely get a loctician to do it, purely because of vision. I can't see what's going on my head. Even with I didn't use a 360 mirror, but even if I had that, it's still not the same as having direct vision from from somewhere else. Yeah. So having someone actually seeing what they're doing directly makes so much difference. I must have interlocked 3 locks together at 3 different times. No matter how hard I tried not to make that mistake and not to pass the lock tool through the neighboring section, I just somehow did. And in the end, for one of them, I had to tease out the strands, and for sure it ended up me sort of having to break the strands. Ugh, painful. And the other one, I literally had to take a pair of scissors to cut it, because if I didn't do that, then I would have had 2 locks which would eventually have been married together, and I didn't want that. So I had to do that for one of them, and that's the main reason. I can understand how, if I continue to do it on my own, over time, making these mistakes, no matter how hard I try not to, could eventually damage the resulting lock, thin it out or whatever. So I really don't want to get into that situation if I can help it. So this is definitely not something that I would be doing willingly if I had a choice. So Davina, we'll be seeing a lot of each other, yeah? So that happened. Another disadvantage is it's time consuming. For me, it's not an advantage to utilize 4 or 5 hours of my time doing my hair. That's the very reason why I decided to go for this option of locking my hair, because I didn't want to have to spend time doing my hair. And yes, it's only once every so often or whatever, but it still adds up. If I'm retightening my hair every 6 to 8 weeks, let's say, so that's roughly about 8 times a year. No, not 8, about 7 times a year, or even conservatively 6, times 4, that's 1 day, a whole 24 hours that I'm spending literally just do. I don't want to do that. I've decided that this year I'm going to cost my time higher than what I've been doing. So that means that every hour I spend doing stuff that I can avoid doing or get someone else to do is an hour almost wasted. If I can get someone else to do it who can do it quicker, I compensate her by paying her or him, and it's done in a shorter period of time, and that's so much better than me doing it, spending 4 times as long, not doing as good a job, and not even paying myself, So kudos to guys out there who are doing their own self-retightening, and I understand the independence of it, for sure, 100%. But as I said, I personally don't want to use my hours doing my retightening if I had the choice of someone else doing it for me. Now, in the future, if I change my mind, that's cool. But for now, especially since, like I said, I made those mistakes of interlocking 2 neighboring locks, and I want to do that again. So yeah, but overall I'm glad I did it, 100%. I've been keeping the tools. I'm more knowledgeable about what's going on. There's a possibility I might have to do it again, because I'm not sure if this lockdown restrictions will be taken off by my next retightening, which I've decided will be about 7 weeks. Initially, the first interval was 6 weeks, and I think I can probably afford to push it to 7 weeks, so I'll do that and assess at the time and see how it goes. So you can't really see what my hair looks like, but you can see the perimeter. You can see it looks much neater. It looks like it's been done by a professional as you look much closer. I've decided that, maintaining the perfect grid doesn't make any sense. My hair strands will not respect that. So I've, again, from a practical point of view, if the grid isn't exactly perfect, that's absolutely fine, because my hair strands will grow as they will. So it seems that as time goes on, even that sort of evolves, that grid pattern evolves. As long as, semblance of it remains, that's absolutely fine, but, I don't need to hold on to that. Well, so that's pretty much the situation at the moment. My grey strand is still disrespecting me. It's there, and I noticed that others. I do want to dye that, because it does make me feel really old, and I know it's just a couple of strands, but when you've grown up without grey hairs and all of a sudden you're seeing it, and you've always thought grey hairs equals aging, it's very difficult to change your mind about that, just because it's beginning to happen to you. So I have to figure out what I'm going to do to die that. But you know, someone told me to pluck it, but I'm not doing that anymore because you know. Right. Yeah, so that's pretty much it. So if I have anything else to say to you guys, I will get on here again. Otherwise, stay safe, everyone. And let's all get through this nightmare of a pandemic. Hold on to the ones that you love tightly and pray for the ones that you can't see. And it's all love. Bye.